Welcome to this episode of Stacie Cooks. Tonight we're making a baked ravioli with some deli meatballs. You can probably find them in your local deli. Either that or you can use some frozen or homemade if you want. But that's a lot of work, isn't it? So I have some nice meatballs that I got at my local deli. They come with marinara sauce. These are all beef. I really like them. I had made meatball subs out of these, just eating them with spaghetti. They're lovely. I always add a little bit of extra marinara to them before I put them in the microwave to warm them up. This is just some buitoni that you can get again in your deli section. I like these cold deli foods because they're easy to eat. They're ready. They taste good. And you can warm them up for a quick dinner. So before we start that, I want to show you guys, I do have a pot of water over here that's on high, ready to heat for my ravioli. I added about 2 tablespoons of olive oil just so those ravioli don't stick together, and a little bit of salt, just so that the water boils nicely. Tonight we're using Romano family pastas, mozzarella cheese ravioli. These are really delicious. Really like them. I've got a family size so we can have some leftovers. It's just me and my roommate eating. But I like to have a little something for him to take for lunch, or for me to take if I want something for lunch as well. So we got the family size tonight. As soon as that water's at a nice rolling boil, we'll add those ravioli right in. I transferred my meatballs from the container, which they came in, which was microwave safe. But I'm not really a huge fan of that. I like to add a little bit of extra marinara sauce to them, so I like a little extra room. So I've got them in this microwave safe bowl with a plate that I'm going to top it with, so that we're being eco-conscious and saving the cleanliness of our microwave at the same time. Kind of covering it also gives a little bit of steam capacity to the meatballs. So we're going to put these in here for 5 minutes tonight. There are 8 large meatballs in there. They weigh around 1/3 pound a piece. So if you're using small meatballs, you want to adjust it. I cut these in half as well so that they'll warm a little bit better. But just kind of be conscious of your time. Go with manufactured directions, or just kind of adjust accordingly. You can always add more time, but you can't take it off. So what you want to do when you're microwaving is start with the smallest amount of time possible, and then you can always add to it if you need to. But you can't put toothpaste back in the tube. So when you've over microwaved, that means your food is tough. It's usually almost ruined. So make sure that you're using your time with your microwave wisely, okay? So we're gonna start with 5 minutes on those. I know that won't be almost nearly enough time to warm those up. They'll get slightly take the chill off. So we'll see where we head from there. With the rest of this marinara sauce, I'm going to put a little bit in the bottom of the pan. I have an 8x8 dish here to bake our ravioli in. This will accommodate the pasta as well as the meatballs and this marinara sauce that I have. So we're going to add some to the bottom. We'll reserve the rest for the top. We're going to add some spices. I've got a little bit of onion powder here. This is just plain onion powder. A little garlic salt, just to kind of rev up the dish a little bit. A little regular salt, a little regular pepper, and this nice, smidge spoon Italian seasoning here. Your run-of-the-mill Italian seasoning from your grocery store. Whatever you got there will do. And then I have a little bit of my favorite McCormick Bruschetta Seasoning, which really tastes delicious in just about everything that I cook that might be Italian. I'll get you right there, good. Thanks to McCormick for making delicious spices. We're also going to take a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese. Your shaker style will do if you don't have a nice little dish like I do. But I happen to work at Safeway, so I got the Primo Taglio grated Italian Parmesan cheese here. We also have some shaved Parmesan from Stella. I'm going to add just a little bit in here under the ravioli, just to give it a little extra cheesiness, because I am not lactose intolerant. Just kidding. I really love cheese. Cheese makes everything so much better. Oh my goodness. I don't know how we ever lived without it. Looks like our water will be boiling here shortly. So we're just gonna hang tight. Let the magic of television do its work. So we've got our microwave about 25 seconds away from being done. Water is at a full rolling boil, as you can see. We're gonna add our ravioli to that. You wanna make sure your water is at a full rolling boil before you add your food. A little bit of olive oil or salt in there, like I showed you. That way the pasta doesn't stick together. If you add it before the water is boiling, the pasta will be sticky and chewy, which is really unpleasant. Nobody likes sticky and chewy pasta, right? You want to make sure everything's soft and delicious, tender, al dente if you'd like it. So I always give my pasta a little bit of stir right after we add it. These are some nice ravioli. These only take about 4 minutes to finish. So we're gonna take our meatballs out of the microwave. These are super nice and hot. It's super steamy, just where we want them. Looks like everything is nice, but not overdone. Nothing got over browned. These are just lovely. Just kind of rinse the spoon over it so I can stir my ravioli again. I kind of forgot what I was doing with that spoon. That happens sometimes when you're in the kitchen. But we don't want to put a marinara sauce into our boiling water. That'll add some particulates into the water we don't need. So these only need about 2 more minutes. They've been in there for about 1.5 minutes. I'm going to adjust the heat so they don't overflow. We'll move these meatballs over here, or we can kind of adjust them into our dish when we're ready. I'm going to put a couple on the bottom. I have a mixed salad over here from Taylor Farms, which is a local company here in Arizona. They make nice bag salads. This is Pear Gorgonzola. I thought it would pair nicely with our ravioli. We're just going to put some of these meatballs down in the middle of the dish so that when the raviolis are ready, we can just put them right on top. And then we'll put the rest of the meatballs kind of arranged on top of the dish, as well as some more of that nice marinara in there. Alright. So fresh pasta really does not take long to cook. As you can see, everything here has floated to the top of the water, which as a cook, an Italian cook tells me, the pasta's ready. That is an indicate that when you have fresh pasta, if you've dropped it in hot boiling water, if it all floats to the top, it's done. You don't want to cook it any longer. You're going to be overcooking it. Just for the sake of safety, I'm going to grab me a pot holder. Even though this is supposed to be a heat safe handle, I'm just going to go ahead and dump those right in there. Moving my hand away from the steam, lifting those up just a little bit. And we're going to give it a few nice tosses, making sure that all of the water is out. Do you see how pretty that is? It's all turned the same color. It's just a few shades lighter than it was to start with. That's a nice semolina pasta. That means it's not going to be too different from the start than it is to the finish. It doesn't take but a few minutes to cook. It's really beautiful. It's delicious. It's amazing. I'll teach you guys how to make this soon, okay? So we're going to go ahead and pour those into our dish. I like to separate them a little bit, making sure there's some sauce between each ravioli. So just kind of dollop that on. We'll put the remaining sauce from the meatballs in there as well. Just give it a gentle stir. You don't want to break your ravioli apart. There's some delicate ricotta in there, and you don't want to get it into your sauce. I mean, you do, but not until you eat it. So we're going to add the rest of this sauce that I have here from the meatballs. And we're going to break those apart that we've cut in half. So now we're going to also add a little bit of that delicious Parmesan that we have over here. And I have some nice shredded mozzarella cheese that I purchased at the store. Pre-shredded. You can always shred your own. I like to buy blocks of cheese and shred them myself, simply because the bacteria growth is lower. if I brought that block of cheese home, it lasts a lot longer than if I buy shredded cheese at the store. The shredded cheese at the store, once you open it, it only keeps like 4 or 5 days and then it starts to go mold. Because you have tiny, tiny little surface areas for bacteria growth. There's like bajillions of centimeters there for it to grow on. So use it quick or shred your own. We're gonna cover this whole thing in this shredded mozzarella like we did in that Parmesan. I'm gonna kind of layer some cheese on here today because I like this cheesy. I like it really cheesy, like me. I make the worst dad jokes in the world. I'm super cheesy. I hope you're not lactose intolerant.
I laughed at that.
I'm gonna add a little bit of shredded Parmesan to it too. I'm gonna kind of break this up though so it doesn't just clump as I put it on here. This brown's different than the mozzarella, so you're gonna have some different browning levels on your bake here. We're also gonna take and cover this with a little bit of foil at first, so that way it doesn't get overdone. The cheese doesn't get too brown. I always have a roll of foil handy in my cupboard. Oh my God, no I don't. So guys, I was out of aluminum foil. That happens in my household sometimes. I don't know, I'm out. And well, I adjusted the temperature on this oven by 50 degrees. When I intend to bake something that needs to be covered, I will just often lower the temperature if I'm out of foil or a cover for it, because it needs like the steam concept for it to cook correctly on the inside and to not be crusty or crunchy or any of those things. So that's been cooking right now at 320 degrees for right around 10 minutes. We're gonna let it cook for another 15 at that temperature, and then we're gonna crank the heat up so that that cheese gets hot and bubbly and everything in there just gets the right texture. So we'll pop that bad boy back in the oven on the middle shelf, right in there, just like that. It looks beautiful already. I'm really excited about this. It's gonna be yummy. It's about 10 minutes before your ravioli's ready. It's been in the oven about 25 minutes. I like to set my broiler at low heat, and I move my ravioli from the bottom or the middle rack just up to the top where those broiler heaters are nice and ready, and that'll give them a nice bubbly look on top of the ravioli. So we've got a Pear Gorgonzola salad tonight. I picked this up. This is from our local company, Taylor Farms. They do a really good job with produce for most of our local grocery stores. They package up prepackaged salads, which come with a little bit of dressing, a crunchy ingredient of some sort, or cheese or something fun in there, and the dressing, which is nice. You don't have to buy anything exterior. Comes right around $3.75, $4, depends on the grocery store you're shopping at. So I went ahead and put the nuts in here, and I'm just adding the dressing. And we're just gonna give it a toss. Isn't that pretty? We're just gonna go ahead and place the salad in the bowls. This keeps your salad nice and chilled no matter the temperature of your room, or if you're even serving it outside. It keeps it super cold, because we always want to eat our salad nice and chilly. It's a really nice little treat. It's a really simple thing to do to make your guests feel appreciated, if you're having guests, or to make your significant other feel appreciated. I always think that mealtime is special, and that every little detail needs to be attended to, whether it be a chilled bowl or a warmed plate. Every little piece of what you do makes your loved ones feel special, warm, and welcome. And that's what we're really doing when we're cooking for each other. It's making us feel warm, special, and welcome. So our ravioli is at the point where I'd love to pull it out of the oven. I'd say it's been in here about 38 minutes in total, being about 10 minutes under a low broiler. So, as you can see, without making a mess, this is freaking gorgeous. Look at the brown on there. Those are our beautiful meatballs. The ravioli is under there. There's marinara, there's cheese. Everything looks like it tastes amazing. Oh, I'm so excited. So I've turned off the oven. Got a couple of plates sitting on top of the oven, so they're a little bit warm. Because again, everything matters. You don't want to put cold warm ravioli on a cold plate. You're just going to end up with cold ravioli. So always warm up your plates if you've got a nice hot dish coming out of the oven. It does make a humongous difference in the way things are plated and presented to your guests. So I'm going to grab a spaghetti spoon here. That looks like probably the best thing to get the ravioli out of here. And look at how pretty that is. Oh my goodness, the cheesiness. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Meatballs, ravioli, all the goodness. What a nice dinner. I can't wait to fill my belly. I'm so hungry right now. How about you?
I'm so hungry.
Come join us for a plate of this wonderful food.
Yes, for sure.
I hope that your day is blessed and beautiful, just as you are. And I hope that you make wonderful and warm meals for your family.